And we're on. Okay. Thanks for agreeing to do this. Yeah, how you doing today?
I'm alright. Just woke up.
Just woke up.
Yeah.
How's work going?
It's going. Frustrations with the boss.
Oh, still?
Yeah, still frustrations. Trying to figure out what to do with that.
How you handling the graveyard shift?
It's a tough one. But it does have its benefits. I have more time to hang out with people, so so I hung out with a few girls, one girl a lot, so that's been good.
Oh, you went on some dates with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's that going?
It's going good. I told her I wanted to meet her parents.
Oh, that good.
Is that serious? Maybe you could give me some advice about that. Or off camera.
Oh, sure.
I don't know what that consists of really, but yeah, I told her I wanted to meet her parents before. I mean, in my mind, that's before I get serious, you know. I think that kind of plays into the whole race thing too, because I think one of my biggest fears is like, she says it's cool for her to date whatever race she wants, but like, what if I go home and her parents are like, I don't want you dating a black guy? You know, it's never been an issue because she's never tried.
Oh, so she is a white girl?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have talked about this, or
Yeah, a little bit.
do you have any anxiety about that, or?
No, I mean, I feel like I'm coming out ahead if, you know, everything crumbles, so, you know, she's a good girl, and I feel like I've maybe learned a lot, seen some different sides of myself from her, so.
What's her name?
Leah. And so, yeah, didn't realize that race was an issue for me as much as it was, so having her be around.
You saying you didn't realize
Race was, yeah.
as much of an issue? Okay.
Yeah.
But then in dating her,
Yeah, I had to like overcome. I think we hit a speed bump. During the first couple of weeks, I was like, oh wow, this girl was actually everything I'm looking for, pretty much. So
and what was the speed bump?
her being white.
Oh,
Yeah, like would people take me seriously as a black person caring about black issues, or you know, and I go off and marry a white girl. I know some people will say, no, he doesn't care because he married a white girl. He should have married a black girl, but they're not. I don't know. That would be racist if I didn't.
if you didn't.
If I didn't take the opportunity. A good girl who like exceeds everything that I would want.
Right. So if you were to, so you're saying if you were to, not marry her just because she's white, then that's just as racist as.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because race wasn't on my list. I didn't realize it was going to be an issue until come up against it, I guess.
Well, let me know how that all unfolds. I'm glad you brought up the race thing, because that was what I really wanted to ask you questions about. If we can talk about racism, and I know you've built some relationships and you've been involved with Black Student Union on campus. I'm just wondering if you could just say a little bit about what your experience working, fellowshipping with those people, making friends, and if there've been any kinds of community building things you've done, or organizing for social change. I don't know if there's anything that stands out.
I think community building has been a big thing. I think the current leadership doesn't want to ruffle a lot of feathers and like have the club like removed.
Leadership of the BSU?
Yeah, so some of the student leaders don't really want to jeopardize the club. And so some people are frustrated with that, but I think it's good just to have people to be able to come together and make you know, have it be a safe place and not always have to have the black people be the ones fighting these issues. I think you could still find opportunity outside of the club for that. So that's been the case this year. So more community building, we went to see the Martin Luther King movie.
Oh, right.
We had a question and discussion thing after the movie. We went to see Dear White People. We had a question and answer thing after the movie, just for the people who.
Wait, what is that? Is that a documentary?
It's like a comedy movie. It's a pretty good movie. It is
Dear
like
White
a low
People.
budget. Yeah, it is. It was pretty good. I actually learned some stuff about it. Just looking at things from a different perspective. They had some interracial dating in there. They had a person who was half white, half black, so she was dealing with that, and they had some gay stuff in there too. So just dealing with that stuff.
You mentioned concerns about like getting kicked out, or how'd you put it? Getting like shut down. Or
Yeah, getting the group shut down. Like if
is that a shared concern in the group?
for some, yeah. I mean, if it were to happen, I think that would be a loss. I don't think. Yeah.
What are the kinds of things that they're afraid could lead to that?
So there was a protest at Tradition that we did. We marched around with signs around Tradition, and so
What's tradition?
it's like a Christmas thing at school.
That's
where
right.
they get together and sing carols and have hot cocoa and stuff outside.
What was the protest?
It was right after Mike Brown and Eric Gardner got acquitted. That his murderer got acquitted. So it was that type of stuff. And so they didn't want to be associated with it. They didn't want their name to be on it. So, yeah, I think it's rightfully so.
So the idea is that it was a group of individuals coming together as a protest, rather than putting BSU's kind of stamp of approval on it or something.
Yeah. It wasn't a school sanction thing. Some people didn't show up from the Black Student Union because they just didn't want to jeopardize the group, didn't want to go down that road.
I wanted to ask you, who has been influential in your life, as far as maybe pastors or authors or civil rights leaders? Who do you kind of look to as really people who've influenced you?
And as far as race?
Yeah.
As far as, I think growing up, I related most to Malcolm X. I didn't really understand Martin Luther King. Still kind of hard to understand.
What was it about Malcolm X that was?
Malcolm X, you know, that eye for an eye. I didn't grow up Christian, you know, so it's that eye for an eye made sense, and defending yourself. Really not begging for a place at a table that you're not accepted at anyways. So, you know, just make your own table. You know.
That's a powerful metaphor. Yeah.
And yeah, I think in his later life too, he went to Mecca and realized that not all white people were bad.
Yeah, he had like a radical conversion experience, right?
Yeah, and so to look at his life, the honesty that the things that he went through. His dad was killed by the KKK, and they burned his house down a couple times as a kid, and just from where he started to where he went, he like really honestly looked at situations and didn't really, was able to live true to himself, but also have followers, not be schizophrenic, and still relate to the realities of at least the black community.
You said you couldn't really relate to MLK Jr.
Yeah.
And still can't.
So, well, I can. I just, smart as Sean Lynch said, I'm about that action, boss. I don't know about going around talking to people and asking them to whatever. I want to see change. I want to make things happen. I want to, I guess, marching and stuff. What some of the marches I've done have been a good way to express myself and but yeah, I don't know. I just didn't understand the non-violent, like they hit you and you don't. But yeah, recently I learned that he got it from Gandhi, and I respected Gandhi, and I kind of understood Gandhi more than I understood Martin Luther King for some reason. Maybe because it was like outside of me. But yeah.
How about since becoming a Christian, how's your perspective changed, or has it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more of an emphasis on forgiveness and like forgiveness, being able to love.
You said a minute ago about, they hit you and you don't hit back. I mean, that just makes me think, turning the other cheek.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does that speak to you in a different way now, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a higher calling. I don't know if I'm there yet.
It's a good way of putting it, a higher calling.
Something to aspire to. I guess. I've just been non-violent. I got out of the military because of, the Bible, and understanding that, the kingdom isn't going to be fought with swords, as Peter found that out when he cut off the ear or whatever. And so, you don't understand it too much, but that's the way I want to go about things. But I'm not going to preach. I don't know, I just don't feel comfortable preaching to somebody. Just be peaceful and, whatever, don't break any windows or whatever. When I'm myself, I don't know, I don't have a better solution for them. I don't feel like I do, unless they understand the gospel, unless I can tell them the gospel. I can't just go in there and tell them to take this part of the gospel when they don't understand more important parts of the gospel, I feel like.
Have you had any kinds of frustrating interactions with people on that very conversation?
Not in that regard. I don't really know too many people that would be rioting. I don't really have too many relationships with people who would be rioting. I have more relationships with people who are like myself, or who are from the white community, and looking at the people who are rioting and oh, that's disgusting or whatever.
I've had a few conversations on topics of social justice and race, and I find myself in them, and you and I are coming from a different place, but I find myself in this conversation with someone who would probably disagree with me on certain issues of racial injustice, and I just find myself getting angry and frustrated and even scared, and it affects how I interact with the person. I know that you've had some interactions on campus where you've actually confronted instances of covert racism that you've noticed, and I'm just wondering if you have any insight or any personal experience on ways that you have entered into that situation, and maybe you don't exactly make an ally, but if if you could not make an enemy and at least leave the dialogue open. I've gotten the impression that you've done that. I'm wondering if you have any insight into that, into how you do that. Or maybe there have been times where you haven't done it well and you've learned from something, I don't know.
Yeah, coming to this school, I was like, okay, this is Seattle. It's been cool, you know, as far as race or whatever, like cooler than Nebraska, where I'm from. And so I was like, okay, so this is gonna be a Christian school, so it's gonna be even cooler. But it was actually a lot worse. Like a lot of the students, you can tell during their homeschooling or whatever that they were taught like black people aren't to be trusted. They're not. You don't make friends with them. Kind of the same stuff that Donald Sterling was saying.
When you were talking just now, you, as you were talking about coming to Seattle and coming to Christian school, you were getting up and like light, and then you said, but it's not really like that. It's actually like the.
Yeah. It was
so
a
it
big
seems like
letdown.
that might have been a big letdown.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big letdown. You know, you see people being friendly to their other friends or whatever, and you know, oh, okay, this person seemed like a cool person. I go talk to them, and they just shut down. They don't want to talk to me. They talk to other new people, and they're fine. But or some certain people, I think about 3 that come to my mind, like off the top of my head, that like just have like animosity, like unspoken animosity towards me being around them, and they don't have any black friends that they talk to. So I try and like, I think one class I had to move like 7 times just to sit in a seat in a class of 40 people, 30, 40 people, and to be around people who are open to me being in the classroom.
Huh.
Yeah. And so, because it's awkward. You sit by somebody or somebody comes and sit by you, you're like, oh, okay, they're open to me. But no, you know, how are you doing? And they're just like shut down and there's a wall there.
Oh, it sounds really uncomfortable.
It is. I don't know, sometimes I get frustrated, like, and I'm thinking like literally, I'm like, last quarter I remember saying it like under my breath, I'm like, why the fuck are you sitting by me? Like, if you don't want me in this, you know, why the fuck did you come sit by me? There's other seats. And so I felt like that was like an attack, like you don't want anybody who's open to me to sit by me, so you're gonna sit by me to kind of oppress me, I guess, I don't know. Because I knew other people in the classroom. This was not the first day of class, this is like the second day or third day of class, and the days before I had, you know, a good friend of mine sitting by me and we were having a good time.
Is there anything you think SPU needs to do in order to make it the place more welcoming to persons of color? I mean,
keep up.
maybe it can't come from the top down. I mean, I don't know.
I think there's a lot of good-hearted people at the school, but I think that they're ignorant to the subject, or that they don't even realize that it's an issue, or won't admit that it's an issue because they can't see it. You know, these people are acting one way towards everybody else and acting another way towards me. And so the people that are like racist and would act that way towards me and shut down towards me,
Yeah.
just because of the color of my skin, those people are in a higher population, but they're not the majority. I think the majority is people who just are ignorant to what's going on. And so if those people would know that, hey, there's one black person in a class, maybe you should reach out a hand to this person in case the culture change the world. Say, hey, my name is, you don't have to sit by him or whatever, just let them know that there is somebody friendly in the classroom, and I don't have to go move around 7 different places to find a couple people who aren't jerks. And so, you know.
I can see you've had some frustrating times at the school. Is there anything you see, like nationwide, that gives you hope?
Nationwide.
Or really anywhere, but I'm just thinking either locally or
Um, yeah, I really just don't think that America can keep us down for much longer. I know that they've tried to run from the past, killing off a lot of Black Panthers, killing off Martin Luther King, which is systematic racism. But I think that people, poor people who are minorities of all different colors, are not gonna fall for the same traps anymore. It seems like, you see the Bloods and the Crips coming together. These people have been killing each other for
Decades.
yeah, just decades. And so to see them come back to their original, they started to fight off racism. A lot of them did start off to fight off racism and defend themselves against like Ku Klux Klan type groups. And somewhere they got lost in that. So to see them come back to that is great. To see a black president, I honestly, when he got elected, I thought he was going to get murdered in the first year. So I'm not like into yeah, I think he did a better job than Bush, and he's doing a better job than a lot of people give him credit for, but just the fact that he's in office and got reelected and didn't get murdered is that's encouraging to me.
What role do you see the church playing in the midst of, say, police brutality on the one hand, and then less civilian rioting on the other hand? What's the church's role in all this chaos?
I don't know. Don't wait for it to be in your doorstep. Go out there and make disciples. Go out there and be with these hurting people. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity to build relationships. To go out there and be on the streets. Be with them.
Being a Christian isn't a spectator sport.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out there. People, plenty of antagonizers out there. The protests that I've been to. So it'd be nice to, yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for having this interview with me. Shut this camera off.